And we are back. This is Prep Rally Live
on tape.
See how he's getting that down? He's learning. He's getting those lines down better every week.
Yeah, halfway through the football season, I finally got it.
He's got those 2 words, on tape. He's getting there, folks. Listen, that shows you can teach anybody anything if you work with them long enough. So I'm Chip Souza, joined by Rick Fires as always, and we're going to talk a little high school football as we get ready for the big games this week. Rick, I'm going to be covering the game of the week, sponsored by West Termite Pest Lawn. There you go. It says it all right there.
Right
says
there.
It way better than I can say it right there.
Yeah, you get the bugs eating right there.
That's it.
If you don't want that, this
you
where
call
you go
them.
to West.
Call them. They will take care of it for you. So, game of the week this week, Ricky's going to take me. I haven't been there this year yet. Wildcat Stadium over at Springdale Harbor as Bentonville West comes in fresh off of an overtime win against Rogers High last week.
I don't know how fresh they are. There was a long game. Bentonville
game.
West, Rogers, Bentonville West going back and forth, back and forth. I was at my game, and I drove all the way home, and I could still hear on the radio the Bentonville West game going on. But Bentonville West pulled out the victory, 35-28, something like that. Was that close?
Close enough.
Close enough. And the Harbor coming off a victory over
They've won
rival.
2 in a row. Yes, they've won 2 in a row.
You was at that game,
I was
right?
at that game at Springdale. And Harbor dominated that game in the second half. So we'll go back and talk about Bentonville West. And Henry Apple mentioned this week a couple of unusual things that could have happened over there the other night at Wolverine Stadium. Number one, their lights, I guess apparently are on a timer set to shut down at 10:30. Well, it was getting close to 10:30. They were about
10:15.
They were about to finish that game by candlelight. I mean, they were close. So anyway, I think it ended up 33-30. I think was the score, something like that, 3-point game in overtime. But Bentonville West.
Just in, it comes in handy to have a newspaper.
It kind of does.
It was 34-31 in overtime.
Well, we were close. You had 38-30 something. I had 33-30. Anyway, it was a close game.
That's why you get your newspaper on
That's
Saturday
right.
mornings.
Even if it's the digital edition with an iPad, you absolutely want to get that.
Right.
So, Bentonville West, I'd seen them the week before against Springdale. Last week I got a chance to see Harbor against Springdale. So against light foes, and I'm going to tell you, Ricky, this game Friday night is going to be a slobber knocker.
The old slobber knocker.
Yes, sir.
Where's the game at?
It's going to be at Harbor.
At Springdale Harbor. Okay.
So you got Harbor coming in, Rick. Last week against Springdale, they looked like some of the Harbor teams. Now I realize Springdale's not, the measuring stick for everybody. They're not the old Springdale, but still, it's a like opponent. Mm-hmm. What Harbor was able to do reminded me a lot of the really good Harbor teams that they've had in the past, where they had that hammer run game. They didn't throw the ball that much.
Yeah.
They had that hammer running game, and they played great defense. So this is what happened last Friday night when they played at Springdale. Number one, they held Springdale to 9 rushing yards in the second half.
That ain't much.
That ain't much. Number two, Harbor rushed for 320 yards. You're going to win most games if you run for 320 yards.
Hold the other ones 9?
And hold them 9. That's a pretty good, not a math major here, but that's a pretty good, formula right there to win games.
So you're saying they physically dominated them?
I'm saying they physically dominated them. Now, Hudson Brewer, he's a kid to kind of keep an eye on. I was really impressed with him. He's a sophomore, but a big sophomore. He's like 6'1", 180, 90 pounds. So he had 160 yards, career high for him, and 4 touchdowns in that game. But Drew, their quarterback, Drew McClendon, junior. Harper's mainly their players are all underclassmen. He's a junior. So Drew McClendon, he had 90 yards rushing in that game. So that's 160 and 90.
Nah, I'll take your word for it.
That's 250 yards between the two of them.
250 yards.
And that was 5 touchdowns. Brewer scored 4. It's like me saying, me and Hank Aaron combined for 755 career home runs. I hit 1 and he hit 740, but we still combined.
Actually, he had a brother who played in Major League, and he did hit 1 home run.
That's
and
right.
that was a bar joke.
Yes.
Yeah, we combined for those.
Hey, I take it any way I can get it.
I take it easy way.
But anyway, so that's what I was going to say about Harbor is they reminded me a lot of those really good Harbor teams when they had that hammer at running back, played good defense, and controlled the line of scrimmage and controlled the clock.
So you're saying they're going to control the clock and control the running game against Bentonville West? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying they had a good game. Now, you're the one who's going to tell me what you think the outcome is going to be.
I forgot that. There's me.
That's right. So, West, I got a chance to see them play against Springdale. They throw the ball a little bit more than Harbor does. And Stephen
Dalton
Dyson.
they got a good quarterback.
Up and down. Yeah. You got Dalton McDonald, who's a 7-year starter, I think, at West, or it seems like it.
Yeah.
So you got him and Stephen Dyson in the pass game.
Great passing game.
They're going to be a team that's going to throw the ball maybe a little bit more. So should set up to be a really good game, Ricky. Who you got?
If it's at Wildcat Stadium,
It is.
I'm taking the Wolverines. The Wolverines coming in to whatever they do to the Wildcats. Bentonville West will come in Springdale Harbor. Bentonville West wins that game.
See, what I love about this show is most people have to go to their producer for sound effects, but I've got sound effects right here.
Yeah,
Ricky, when Bentonville West throws a football, what sound does it make? There's try to spell that if you can.
See, I lived in Michigan, so I know what a Wolverine is. I know what they can do. They can't do it to Ohio State, but they can do it
They can
to
do damage.
the Wildcats. Yeah.
They can do damage. So, got that big game going over there. Ricky, what makes this a big game is that the seedings in 7A and 5A and whatever are going to be so convoluted. It's going to be difficult to come up with seedings. So the imperative for the teams here is you got to win. Just win, like Chris Wood said, just win the game.
Yeah.
Okay, just win the game, and we'll let the seedings
Put down your calculator and all that. We don't need all that.
I don't think that's even going to work. So the object here is to win games, but the winner of this game would have a better shot at a higher seeding than the loser. I'm just going to say I'm keeping it as simple as I can.
Wait a minute.
For simple,
the winner of this game will
has
have
a better shot at a higher seeding than the loser.
Isn't that kind of obvious?
Even things I mean, Rick, even you understand that.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
So big game. What we're saying is big game.
So when you win a game, that's better than losing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Good.
So
all right.
That's a big game going on over at Harbor. Buy your e-ticket early, get there, and enjoy that game. If you can't get there in person, watch it on the live stream. They're going to have live stream for both schools, and if you know how to do that sort of thing and get the live stream, watch it any way you can. It's going to be a good game. But not the only big game in the area this week.
What else we got?
Got some other big games. Down in the River Valley, Fort Smith Northside, they finally got to play another conference game.
Yes.
Finally they did. And I mentioned how Harbor dominated Springdale in that game Friday night. Well, that paled in comparison to what Northside did to poor Little Rock Catholic Friday night down there at Mayo Thompson Stadium.
Northside had 5 turnovers. They didn't play very well on offense, but they held Little Rock Catholic to hardly, I think, 11 yards in the second half. They got the run game. Northside got
negative 11 yards.
Is that what it was?
Negative, yes.
I got to get my glasses. I saw the 11. I didn't see the little dink and parentheses.
Yes.
Okay, minus 11. So the old Gridley defense, you and I both worked in Fort Smith.
Yes.
They pride themselves on that.
Yes, they do.
That Grizzly defense.
Yes.
How you like them sound effects?
I like that.
Yeah. And anyhow, but I want to go back to a couple weeks ago when Northside had to come up here and play at Fayetteville. Northside's trailing that game they're trailing that game maybe 2 touchdowns in the second half. But Slate Stanton kicks the tying field goal.
The Iceman.
The Iceman.
Finger rolled the field goal.
I asked the coach, I said, who calls him the Iceman? He said, he does.
He does.
He does.
That's great. If you give your own self your own nickname, that's awesome.
I said, well, I guess we'll go with the Iceman. He called himself the Iceman. He tied the game about halfway through the fourth quarter with the field goal, and then he wins the game for Northside. Yeah.
I can do it too, Rick.
Yeah, there you go.
You got fume, I got.
Yeah. With 7 seconds to go, so they win that game 33-30. And I'm telling you, I mean, you could see the relief, and they partied like it's 1999 or 20,099 on midfield. There was a great win for them. If they continue to have success, they're going to look back on that win on the at Fayetteville, right there on their court where it said the Fayetteville Bulldog right there. They partied right there.
On the Bulldog.
On the Bulldog.
On the purple Bulldog.
On the Bulldog. Nobody told them to get off, too.
Wow.
And then the next week, they don't play as well, but they still win the game.
Still won the game.
Now, with that big what do you call it, momentum?
Momentum. They go to
with
Conway
the train,
tonight.
They're going down they're taking a big track down there to
down to Conway.
And Conway's a very good team.
Conway. Rick, Conway and Cabot. Now, they had a great game Friday night. 52-49. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That's
back
like a basketball
back and
game.
Forth.
Yes. Except if Marty Barnes coached it. But if anybody else coached it, 52-49. I'm just kidding, sort of.
But anyhow, that really, that's a big game in the 7A Central. I think our prognosticators said something about Conway probably favorite. But you know what? I like the big Mo of the Northside Grizzlies. Northside Grizzlies going to go down there and beat the six-legged Wampus Cats. Yes. So Northside Grizzlies, gotcha.
Now, one thing about Northside, Rick, that you and I have talked about a little bit. Now, they did have some turnovers last week. They did, and Drayden Norwood. What people need to keep in mind, yes, he is verbally committed to Texas A&M as a defensive back. So, if he throws a few picks, that's okay. What he's doing is preparing himself for when he gets to college so he can see how to intercept those passes. See, I know how his mind's working. See, that's how it's working. So, but he did have
his coach would rather him not do that.
He'd rather him not do that.
Yeah.
Well, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But a player who's emerged from Northside that was kind of under the radar that not many people were talking about was Walker Katsavis. He's
wide
been
receiver.
Yes, he's been a big part of their offense. He had a couple of touchdowns against Catholic. He's a big target. He's 6'4", about 185 or whatever pounds. You're a 5'9" defensive back. That's a mismatch right there. If you can just get him the ball, get it up high where you can high point it. He's been a big plus for them.
Well, that's what I'm counting on. I think I don't think there's any way Northside offense play as badly as they did last week, and I think their defense is really good too. But man, what a matchup! You know what? All I got is like a '69 little Honda. If I had a big old truck like you own, I would go down there and fill up my gas tank and stop at the restaurant and just make a day of it. But since I got to be home, so I got to cover a game up here. But that'd be a game, as far as statewide, I'd really like to see.
So you don't have your little moped anymore? You graduated
to a car? Yeah.
There you go. Yep. If you've never seen him on the moped, that's a sight.
Yeah, it's like a Fred Flintstone kind of thing.
So we got that going on, and then Rick, one other game we'll talk about a little bit. We've got up in Harrison, up at the top part of the state, on Burlsworth Way. Avenue Freeway, way up there.
Way up there in the hills.
Yes. We've got Velonia coming in to play Harrison. Big game in the 5A. People thought Harrison was going to be way down this year, Rick. They lost all their good running back, and they lost everybody. Guess what? Somebody forgot to tell Harrison that.
Harrison's a solid program. Coach Wells over there. Velonia, we don't know a lot about them. They're on the other side of the state. That conference is spread out.
It really is.
And Harrison is regrouped. I think they might have lost a game or two early, but that's a big conference game. And Strange, especially, hey, we're pert near in the middle of October.
Pert near.
Yeah, that's it. I'm from Caraway, Arkansas, born on Hackberry Road.
That's in the dictionary in Caraway.
That's it. So we're pert
near. That means this close.
We're pert near halfway through October, and there's strange things happen up there in the hills.
Goblinville.
Right around, the Goblin. Right around Halloween. And I think Harrison gets them. The old Goblins, right here in the middle of October, will win that game.
And of course, a win for Harrison would be better than
a loss.
Yes, absolutely, it would be.
Wow.
See how we bring
See
you
what
this
you learn.
We bring you this knowledge every week, and you get it for free, basically. Just tossing out free knowledge. So big game in the 5A
plus
West.
alt equals alt.
Yes,
there
I learned that from Jethro Bodine.
Yeah, Jethro Bodine.
Yes, absolutely. So big games this week. Not just these three. There's other big games going on everywhere as we move, toward the midway or pert near to the midway. Pert near.
Yeah.
So seeding is big. Wins are big. Everything is big. This year with COVID-19. So everything. Big games in the region, and we'll say it again this week, like we say every week. Mask up. Follow what this guy. Well, not everything, but if he can put his mask on, anybody can. So follow the masking guidelines. Social distancing, do what they tell you to do, because Ricky, you and I talked about this. It's not about you, man.
Not about you.
It ain't about you. It's about these kids. And if you don't see that, let me throw this football at you, because you need to be able to see that.
Stay home on your recliner.
Exactly. So support these kids, love on these kids, but do it from a distance. Ricky, that's all I got. You got any other words of wisdom?
I got nothing.
I know you don't have any words of wisdom.
No, I mean, why start now? I hadn't had any.
Exactly. So that's it for this week's edition, and we will catch you next time on Prep Rally Live. He's already forgotten it.
On tape.
On tape. There
that's
you go.
it.
Catch you next time.